So you're moving to Oklahoma City and you want to know what the top suburbs are. Okay. As a realtor, I can't steer you in any direction. However, I can tell you what a lot of online researchers are going to tell you about the top suburbs, according to niche.com and other websites. I can also tell you where a lot of my clients are buying homes. And again, we've had a busy year. We've already closed multiple homes already in 2024. We also have multiple homes under contract in 2024. So if you're looking for a new home, check out my channel. We have a lot of model home tours already, including one last week that's a neighborhood that is Game of Thrones inspired. Had a little fun with the graphics on that one. So please check it out. And today I'm at the beautiful Lake Hefner Golf Course because it's a fantastic 65-degree day in Oklahoma. Even though it's February, no wind. I wish I was out here actually playing. However, shooting videos and helping people buy homes is what pays the bills, so we gotta prioritize. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna dive deeper into each one of these suburbs. It's buying season, and I know each one of you guys wanna get a really good in-depth view of each one of these areas. And so again, we're gonna dive deeper into each one. Each one of these communities will have their own video that we're really gonna be talking about it, really highlighting some of the features of it. But this video right here is pretty much just to help you out and kind of point you in the right direction. And to make things a little more interesting, I'm actually gonna tell you which TV family I think would live in each one of these suburbs. And while I'm describing each one of these areas, I will put the population and the median home price for each one of these locations. If you do any kind of research, the city that comes up the most, and this is the one that most people call me about, it's gonna be Edmond. Edmond is the #1 suburb in Oklahoma City, on a lot of lists because of three major factors. One of them is going to be resale value. In fact, I have a listing in Edmond and it went pending in less than 48 hours. I lived in Edmond for 3 years after I got married, and the house, when we sold it, I think it sold in less than 6 days. So Edmond is a very popular place because, again, resale value. The other one is going to be safety. If you do any type of research, you're going to find that Edmond's going to be a pretty safe place. And last is going to be education. According to niche.com, Edmond Public Schools is #1 in the state. So if you want your kid going to the best school district in the state of Oklahoma, it's going to be Edmond. And there's also a second school district in Edmond, which is Deer Creek. And Deer Creek, I believe, according to niche.com, is also in the top 10. So out of all the school districts in the state of Oklahoma, you're going to have the #1 and another school district also in the top 10. So with resale value and education and safety, Edmond is a pretty easy choice for a lot of people. Now, what's Edmond like? Edmond's gonna be pretty much everything you expect a suburb like that to be. If you wanna live on a golf course, you can. If you wanna hobnob with maybe some of the most elite people in the Oklahoma City Metro, a lot of them are gonna live in Edmond. However, you don't have to be a high roller to live in Edmond. You can technically still buy a brand new house there for $250,000, $270,000. So again, even if you're just kind of an average everyday person that really wants your kids going to a great school district and you want to go buy a house where you can probably sell it in a couple of years and make a little money off of it, Edmond's going to be probably the top choice for a lot of people. What type of TV family would live in Edmond? I would say the whole cast of Modern Family. You know what I mean? You're going to have some high rollers, the Jay and Glorias that are going to live in Oak Tree or Rose Creek golf course communities. You're also going to have the Dumpies, which is going to be pretty much a majority of Edmond. 2 to 3 kids, college educated, not rich, but they're making it. And then you'll have the Cam and the Mitchells, which you're going to have maybe where you have one parent's working, maybe one's not. You're not living in the biggest of homes, but you're living in a place that has great schools and in a great area, close to shopping and a lot of stuff. So I would say the characters from Modern Family would be what I would consider the type of people that would live in Edmond. Hey, if you're someone that lives in Oklahoma City and you're like, man, I do not agree with that comparison, go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What TV family do you think would live in each one of these suburbs? Next on a lot of people's list, it's going to be Norman. Norman is going to be everything I said about Edmond, but in my opinion, it's just a little bit more liberal. And the reason why I say that is because Norman's a college town. So it's just a little bit more, I think it just leans a little more left in its politics. Norman still has great schools. It has a lot of activity, a lot of places to eat, a lot of places to shop, a lot of places to go. Another thing though about Norman, and this is why some people kind of don't like it, even though Norman is part of the Oklahoma City metro area, it's really south of downtown by about 15, 20 minutes of downtown Oklahoma City. So there are a lot of people out there. Norman at times just feels like it's away from everything. So if you're someone that like works in downtown Oklahoma City, you're gonna have a lot of people that you know are gonna live in Edmond, you know, or Piedmont or Yukon. And when you're down in Norman, because it's South Metro, sometimes you're gonna feel like you're away from everybody, you know, or you know, it's gonna take you so long to get somewhere to a party or to someone's house, because from Edmond to Norman, it's a good 45-minute drive, you know, depending on where you're going in Edmond. Now, with that being said, Norman does have 100,000 people in it. So it does have its own mall, Target, multiple Walmarts. If your kids play sports, there's gonna be plenty of places for them to go do that. So again, on a day-to-day, you have really no need to go north. Again, it's just gonna affect you, you know, again, if your kids are playing like club volleyball, club basketball, when their tournaments are gonna be in Northwest Oklahoma City or in Edmond, okay? But on the day-to-day, you're just fine living in Norman because it has everything you would need. Now, what type of TV family do I think would live in Norman? Again, I'm going by my childhood. And a lot of people are gonna be around my age that are probably buying, maybe a little younger too, but I would say the Seavers from Growing Pains. You know what I mean? Those are families that care about traditional values. You know, they want their kids to go to school. However, they lean a little left. You know what I mean? And that's what I would say the Seavers are. The Seavers are, you know, definitely a family that I could see living in Norman. Another one on the list is going to be Yukon. And Yukon is extremely popular right now because technically half of Yukon is not really in Yukon. It's actually in Northwest Oklahoma City. And that's a big deal. Kids get to go to Yukon schools, which again is another popular school district, but you are also in an area that is extremely close to shopping, eating, hangout spots like the Quail Springs Mall, Chisholm Creek. It's pretty much where everybody in Northwest Oklahoma City and Edmond kind of hang out. And there's a section of Yukon that's really close to the Kilpatrick Turnpike, and they can get to that area in literally 7-8 minutes. Whereas if you lived in Yukon proper, it would probably take you 15 to 20 minutes to get there. And that's why Yukon is so popular right now. And it's the same thing for Piedmont, which Piedmont's also on this list. Piedmont is right next door to Yukon. It's the same thing. Half the kids that go to Piedmont schools don't really live in Piedmont. They live in Northwest Oklahoma City, okay? And it's the same thing for the kids in Yukon. Those parents can easily jump on the turnpike, get to all those hangout spots. You're close to the mall, you're close to restaurants, you know, but your kids get the benefit of going to Piedmont schools, which is going to be a smaller school district. And again, it's another school district that is highly rated, okay? Most people who move to Oklahoma City, and I'm going to just flat out say it, they're trying to avoid Oklahoma City public schools because Oklahoma City public schools doesn't have the best reputation and it doesn't have the best grade. That's why the Piedmonts and the Yukons are extremely popular, okay? Because again, your kids get to go to Yukon schools or Piedmont schools. However, you're living in Northwest Oklahoma City, so you're close to all the action. And that's why Yukon and Piedmont are extremely popular. So what type of TV family do I think would live in Yukon? I'm gonna go with the Taylors from Home Improvement. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people who live in Yukon are gonna have pretty good jobs. They care about education, a lot like the Taylors. However, it's not uncommon to be in Yukon and seeing a guy in his third car garage have a hot rod or an old car that he tinkers with. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you don't see that in Norman, and I'm not saying you won't see that in Edmond. But that kind of activity, that white collar transition, but having blue collar roots, I think it's just a little bit more prevalent in the Yukon area that you would see. A lot of cops, a lot of firefighters are going to live in Yukon. They're going to live in that area. Same with Mustang too. As for Piedmont, you know, what TV family do I think would live in Piedmont? Man, this was a tough one. I'm going to go with an old school one. I'm going to go with the Cunninghams from like Happy Days. You know, Piedmont's not that big. Like I said before, there are a lot of kids that are going to be going to Piedmont schools, but they'll technically be living in Northwest Oklahoma City. But Piedmont itself, it's a small town. It's only like 8,000 people that live in Piedmont proper. Now, there are a bang of people that live on the outskirts of Piedmont, like I said, that live in Northwest Oklahoma City. But Piedmont itself is, again, it's not that big. You know, in fact, I think it might only have one stoplight. And if I think about it, if a stoplight at all. So and that's what you're kind of getting into. I mean, if you're looking for like a Truman Show or type place to where it's a super small town, you know, that's what Piedmont's going to be. You know, with that being said, it is, you know, a stone's throw away from probably the most populated area of the Oklahoma City metro. But Piedmont itself, again, small town, small school district. So I would think the Cunninghams from Happy Days, you know, would probably be a good representation of what Piedmont is. Another one is going to be Mustang. And just like Yukon and Piedmont, a lot of people are trying to get their kids in an A-rated school. And Mustang, last time I checked on niche.com, was A-rated. In fact, I've said this so many times in my other videos, Mustang High School looks like a junior college. It's one of the most impressive schools in the Oklahoma City metro area. In fact, the last two homes I've sold have both been in Mustang. Next week, I have a showing with a lady from Texas. She's thinking about buying a house in Mustang. Okay, Mustang's super popular. It's the South version of Yukon and Piedmont. Okay, and the thing about Mustang is people think Mustang's kind of far out, but it's really not, especially if you work in downtown Oklahoma City. Because in all honesty, you can get to Mustang to downtown or downtown to Mustang in about 15 minutes. The turnpike has changed, and that Highway 52 merge that they've done, I mean, you can really get to downtown super fast. If you're someone that's going to be working at Tinker Air Force Base, that's in the play because you can just jump on I-240 and zip all the way across. If you're someone that's going to work for the FAA, you know, you're right around the corner from there. So if you're someone that, again, Tinker, FAA, you know, working at the airport, working anywhere near downtown, believe it or not, I think Mustang is a great choice for you because they're extremely close to everything. Again, there are a lot of people out here, they're going to think Mustang's too far away. In my opinion, I think Mustang's a great choice. You know, it's not small town. There's a Walmart, there are grocery stores, there's Home Depot, there are restaurants. I mean, Mustang is just like any other suburb. So if you're going to check one out, Mustang's a good choice. So what TV family do I think would live in Mustang? I'm going to go with the Arnolds from the Wonder Years. You know, even though Mustang's growing by leaps and bounds, it's still kind of simple. It's the type of place that's growing, but you're still going to know your neighbors. Again, the last two homes I've sold, Mustang, because a lot of people are coming from major metropolitan areas, but there was something about Mustang that just is appealing. Okay, so when it comes to TV families, I think the Arnolds will be a good representation of people that live in Mustang. Next on the list is going to be Moore, okay? And I'm just going to be flat out honest with you guys about Moore. Moore is super popular. However, Moore has been hit by 3 tornadoes in the past 50 years. I think it was 78, 99, and 2013. So when people do any research about Moore, that's going to be the first thing that pops up. With that being said, Moore is still the 3rd largest suburb in the Oklahoma City metro area. So there's a lot of people out there that are just like, yeah, I'll take my chances with Moore. Moore splits both sides of I-35, so you can get to anywhere you want to in the metro pretty quickly. It's right by Norman. It's also going to be, has a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping. It has a really cool downtown, water park. Again, the biggest thing with Moore is the fear. So again, I want to be honest about Moore, but with that being said, there are a lot of people that still love it. It's still a popular suburb. And again, 68,000 people, they can't all be crazy. So what TV family do I think best represents Moore? This one's a little different. I'm gonna go with the Simpsons, but not really the Simpsons, the family, but rather the whole town of Springfield. Okay, because Moore is one of the most unique and eclectic places in the entire metro. If you're someone that has a high-paying white-collar job, you can live in Moore. You have a high-paying blue-collar job, you can live in Moore. If you're someone that's military or retired military, you can live in Moore. You're someone that went to Harvard or Yale and now you're teaching at the University of Oklahoma, you can live in Moore. You're someone that didn't want to go to college, okay, and you have a trade, you can live in Moore. If you're a Bible thumper, you can live in Moore, okay? If you're someone that's tatted up, drives a Harley, and may not be the most spiritual person, you can live in Moore. Again, just like The Simpsons, it is one of the most unique places in the metro. And the crazy thing about it is, despite all their differences, people in Moore make it work, okay? And again, the only times you ever really see that is in a cartoon. And what about other areas like Midwest City and Del City? Midwest City is going to be a very blue-collar, hard-working town. It's right on the front doorstep of Tinker Air Force Base. You also had a lot of people who worked at the old GM plant. They also lived in Midwest City, also Moore. So it's going to be a hard-working, blue-collar type of city, And just like anywhere, though, you're going to have some hit-and-miss areas of Midwest City. So if you're going to be close to Tinker, again, just check out the whole neighborhood. Again, Midwest City has some great areas. In fact, one of my favorite golf courses, John Conrad, is in Midwest City. As for Del City, I actually lived over there. My very first house was in Southeast Oklahoma City, Del City area. It's right next door to Midwest City. Rodeo Cleaners was the best cleaners I ever had. The food in both Midwest City and Del City is amazing because the thing about military people, if your food sucks, they're not gonna go. You know what I mean? They don't care about how trendy it is. They don't care about any of that stuff. They care about how good it is. So the food in Midwest City and Del City, again, was pretty good. However, if you do some research on Del City, it's high on a lot of worst cities due to crime list. And again, I lived over there. I didn't have any physical altercations with anybody. However, my crap got stolen all the time. My lawnmower got stolen. My golf club got stolen. My propane tank got stolen. Weed eater got stolen. So that's my experience with that area. Again, I liked living over there. I liked the atmosphere of the community. However, there are some rough spots in that, Del City, Southeast Oklahoma City area. So what type of people would live in the Mid-Del area, which Mid-Del is another name for Midwest City and Del City? In my opinion, Midwest City, a good representation for that is going to be the Winslows from Family Matters. They're the type of family that is going to be holding down Midwest City. As for Del City, I would say a lot of it's going to be more of the Connors. I think those are the type of people that would best represent, that whole Mid-Del area. And hey, If you have any questions about moving to the OKC area, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text. If you've talked with almost anybody that I've worked with, they're actually surprised that I actually answer the phone pretty quickly and pretty much most often. So go ahead, shoot me a text, give me a call. If not, I'll see you on the next video.